Yeah, 102. Okay, this is ninth grade. Oh, this is ninth grade lit, and we are going to be reading in the Song of Roland. About 25 pages is the plan to prepare for the test in about 2 weeks when we get back from Thanksgiving.
Are you going to get any more class time to do the sheets that?
Yes. All right, so we are on page, what did I say, page 102. Hey, so turn to the bottom of the page, about halfway through. Hey, ladies. We knew where you were. We knew where you were, I think. Cheerleaders, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hope that went well, thank you. All right, page 102. We were going to read, and I'll read this, and then I'll pick out the ones that we're going to focus on. So 102. Remember, the first part of the battle is one-on-one, the peers of the French fighting the peers of the Saracens, and then the battle becomes a melee, which we'll look at. So let me read 102. Everybody should kick in here. We don't have a lot of time. So get your focus on. Then Berger drives at Estramarin. He cleaves the shield, and the good hauberk splits. On his stout spear, the trunk of him, he spits and flings him dead mid 1,000 Saracens of the 12 peers. Our 10 are already dead. Just underline that. They've already killed 10 of the 12 peers. The battle starts off really well.
On page what?
102. The battle starts off really well. You know, this one-on-one, it seems, competition between the 12 peers of the French and the 12 peers of the Saracens is going pretty well. And so the 12 peers have killed 10 of the Saracen peers. And just note how brutal this is, and also how unbelievable it is. They split the person in two. They split the horse in two. They split, one stroke kills the horse and the rider at the same time. It's unbelievable. They throw the guy off with this spear. That's, of course, very epic, right? It's unbelievable. It's bigger than life, larger than life. All right, so let's go to 103.
Wait, the chapter, like the little paragraph from 103 or the page one?
No, 103. All right, so now Marjoris is a right valiant peer. You got your book? Now Marjoris is a right valiant peer, buxom and strong, nimble and fleet and fierce. He spurs his horse to strike at Olivier. He splits the shield, the golden boss he shears. Along his ribs the glancing spear point veers. But by grace, God's grace, his body is not pierced. Circle that, because that is, if we were to read every one of these, we would see that more and more, where this reference to God intervening and protecting people. And I think we've talked about it. How many times you almost something happened to you, and you realize, wow, that was a close call. That car almost hit us. Or, gee, how did I notice that? You're not drivers yet, but you'll notice that, man, I didn't see that car, and wow, what stopped me? Why did I put on my brakes? You could look at it from a human point of view, like if I saw it out of the corner of my eye, it didn't register, but because we're believers, we know God ultimately controls all things, and so just like this, God's grace, his body is not pierced. How do you explain it? We can't explain it except God intervenes. So it's kind of like in Beowulf, when God is given credit for saving people. You would see that a lot here. Sometimes he literally sends down an angel to do it. Like there's a visible angel, visible to the person there that saves them. But sometimes he doesn't need angels. He just uses them. He doesn't need them. Nor is he thrown through the shock, breaks the spear. Past him the Paynim is born in full career. Rallying his men, he sounds his bugle clear. So you're going to see gradually the peers of France start to get wounded and later killed. So if you read it real carefully, you would notice everything's going great for the peers now, for the French. Then all of a sudden, one by one, they start to die, and then before you know it, the tide is turned. All right, the top of the page. John, you don't have your book with you. Why don't you read this one for us? Top of page 103, number 104. And this is when the battle becomes a melee. Remember the two words, two different ways to spell it? That's when it's just a mass of people fighting willy-nilly. Did we talk about that word the other day? All right. You ever heard that, willy-nilly? It's kind of a silly sounding word. But the English have it too, but it sounds like this, willy-nilly. It means mass confusion in a confused way. It's kind of a funny word, but it is extra credit, perhaps. I can put it on the test. All right, you can begin. I always put extra credit on it. This would be a good, there's several of these words we can look at.
So like the format would be like, what is the modern day word for will?
Yeah, I would just ask you to define it.
Oh.
Something like that. It means, in a confused manner.
Great is the battle and pride of the melee, nor does count Roland's stint of his strokes this day. While the shaft holds, he wields his spear amain, 15 great blows ere it splinters and breaks. Then his bare brand, his durindal he takes, against
Chernobyl.
He spurs his steed in haste, splits through the helm with carbuncles.
Carbuncles. They are red jewels, ruby colored jewels.
Through the steel coif, through scalp and through brain. Twist the two eyes, he cleaves him through the face. Through the bright, irony, close set with rings of mail. Right through the body, through the fork and the reins. Down through the saddle with its beaten gold plates. Through to the horse he drives the cleaving blade, seeking no joint through the chine carves his way. Flings horse and man dead on grassy plain. Foul befall, felon their ear you sought this fray. My hound, quoth he, shall never bring you aid. Villains like you seek victory in vain.
You notice the outlandish nature. It splits his helmet, his head.
Wait, is that Roland?
Roland is the one who does that to the Spanish. So it's the scalp and brain, twixt the two eyes, through his face. I don't know that that's possible, but this is kind of epic stuff. So what I'm going to do is when we skip something, I want you to write something. So you should write that. Write it right next to that this is the melee. It's in the first line. Circle that word. And
Where is?
It's at like the top of
top
the
word of
floor.
number 104. Top line.
Top line, last word.
And then the outlandish, whatever word you want to do, the outrageous, the unbelievable nature of their strength, that they could split a man's head in two with one stroke. Maybe you could, I don't know. That seems unbelievable to me.
I feel like we could do it with like enough momentum.
So maybe it's enough believable that we don't say that's ridiculous. Frankly, I think I liked the first Avengers movie, but after that, they all kind of got. He's throwing this machine over here, and then this machine picks Captain America up and he throws him over here. Okay, I've seen enough. I get it. That's kind of the way this could be. He's killing this person out. It's kind of I can't believe that really happened. So on 104, just circle Durandal, second line of 104.
And that's the sword, right?
That's the sword, and they're still fighting.
Is Durandal like a special sword?
Yes, you'll find out more about it later. It's actually from an angel. So in other words, it came straight from heaven.
Would it be like, what's that? There's like one to protect
was Michael, and
Michael,
it's Gabriel.
yeah.
Michael is associated with Israel, and Gabriel, of course, was the one who spoke to Mary and told her she was pregnant, or would become pregnant.
Those are the archangels.
That's right. There are only three angels mentioned in the Bible, and those are two, Michael and Gabriel. You know the third one?
See?
What? Say it.
Nah, that's fine.
Well, you were right. I just want them to hear it.
Say-
Yeah, what's his name in the Bible? But those are the only three angels mentioned. I like football teams like Notre Dame. They don't put their name on the back. It's the name on the front, as they say in basketball. You know, Notre Dame and Army, it's not about the individual. It's about the name on the front. It's about Army or Notre Dame. And angels are like that. They're mostly nameless. You don't know their names. I guess we'll find out their names. Even if the stars have names, surely the angels have names. The Bible says that God named every star. He knows each one of them by name. We don't know necessarily what the names of them are. So I bet angels have names as well. We'll find out about them. All right, look at 106. End of 105, Mount Joy, or Mount Joy. What is that?
I knew it, but
They shout it. It's a war cry. So circle that, Mount Joy. Top of the page.
What page?
Top page 104.